Very good morning. In this lecture, this is Dr. Pooja Gupta, HOD, School of Medical and Paramedical Sciences, ITM University, Gwalior. So, in this lecture, as we have already discussed with the general introduction to the exocrine and endocrine glands and what are the various glands which are present. Now, we will go one by one with the specific glands, what uh, glands we need to, we will study the one by one all the glands. So, today we will study the pituitary gland. So, let's talk about the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus and the various hormones released by the hypothalamus which act on pituitary gland, and the various organs which are released by the pituitary gland which act on various other organs, which brings about the actions in the human body and metabolism and different actions in different other organ systems. So, the pituitary gland or hypophysis, also called as hypophysis, is attached to the hypothalamus at the base of the brain. Okay, so this pituitary gland is present at the base of the brain, along with the hypothalamus is attached to the hypothalamus. Okay, so hypothalamus is a major integrating link between the nervous and the endocrine systems. So this hypothalamus is a very important organ or a gland which brings about a link between this nervous system and endocrine systems. The various organs from the hypothalamus, they act on pituitary gland, and then the organs from the pituitary gland act on the other organs. Although the pituitary gland is sometimes called the master of the endocrine gland. So maximum glands which are released from this pituitary gland, they act on the various other organs, and which brings about the growth, development, metabolism and homeostasis in human body. So this is pituitary gland is called as master of all the endocrine glands. Okay, so because it regulates other organs in the human body. So together the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland regulate virtually all aspects of growth, development, metabolism and homeostasis. Okay, so this is this all hormones is which are this both glands releases, the hypothalamus and the pituitary. They regulate all the aspects of growth, development, metabolism and homeostasis in the human body. So this pituitary gland can be divided into the posterior and the anterior pituitary. Okay, so the pituitary gland is divided into two parts, the posterior pituitary and the anterior pituitary, depending upon the where they are present in the those pituitary fossa. So it's basically it will study the where it is present, but it is divided into the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. Okay, now what is the size of the pituitary? It is a very small, a pea-shaped size, like a shape of a mutter. Like what is the shape of a mutter? So this is a pea-shaped gland which brings about only, which weighs about only 500 milligrams, not a single, not even the full 1 gram. It's 500 milligram, and it's pea-shaped this gland, and consists of two main parts that originate from different types of cells. Okay, so there is two different types of cells which are consist of two main parts that originate from different types of cells. The anterior pituitary or the adenohypophysis is an upgrowth of glandular epithelium, okay, from the pharynx. Okay, so anterior pituitary is also called as adenohypophysis. Okay, so is an upgrowth of glandular epithelium from the pharynx. So the the different cell is the glandular epithelium, and the posterior pituitary, also called as neurohypophysis, a downgrowth of nervous tissue from the brain. So anterior pituitary, see, posterior pituitary also called as neurohypophysis, and is a downgrowth of nervous tissue from the brain. This is the two difference between the two parts of the pituitary, the adenohypophysis and the neurohypophysis. That one is developed upgrowth of the glandular epithelium of the pharynx. Okay, we are already done with the pharynx. So this from the upgrowth of the glandular epithelium of the pharynx and the nervous tissue, and the posterior pituitary is the downgrowth of the nervous tissue from the brain. Okay. So this is the two division of pituitary, the adenohypophysis and the neurohypophysis. Now there is a network of nerve fibers between the hypothalamus and the posterior pituitary. Okay, the various communication is made in between the you can say the hypothalamus and the posterior pituitary. Okay, so there is a network of nerve fibers which brings about the various actions or various communication between the posterior pituitary and the this hypothalamus. Okay, now here you can see the how it is present. See, so this is present in this is your pituitary gland, this is your posterior anterior pituitary, and this is your posterior pituitary. Okay, and the hypothalamus is connected here. As you can see, this is your this P shape, this P shaped. Now just see what is the location of pituitary where it is present. Okay, so as you can see, this is the shape of pituitary gland. So P shaped, weighing 500 milligram, less than a 1 gram. Okay, now it is divided into the anterior lobe, this is anterior pituitary, and this posterior, the posterior pituitary. Okay, this is the posterior. Now there is nerve connection between the pituitary and the hypothalamus. See the nucleus, various nucleus which are present here. So these bring about the various so they are present with the, you can see here, this pituitary, posterior pituitary, through nerve fibers it is connected to this area. Okay, now say the various, you can see we will zoom it so that you can see it properly. So is there is third ventricle. At the base of the third ventricle it is present here. See, this is your third ventricle. Okay, so it is present in the third ventricle and to the base of the spinous bone, the squamous part of the spinous bone of your brain, it is situated here. Okay, now as you can see, this is pituitary portal system, that is the blood vessels which brings about the various blood, and they releases the various tissues. So this is your you can see the posterior lobe, and this is the pituitary stalk. This is called as pituitary stalk, and the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. So this is the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. This is your hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. Okay, this is the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. Okay, so this is the stalk, and you can see the pituitary portal system, the third ventricle, the nucleus of the hypothalamus which is connected to it. Okay, so this is all about the structure of pituitary. And now the various hormones which are released by this pituitary, hormone secreted is the ADH and the oxytocin, and by the posterior pituitary. Okay, ADH and the oxytocin, and by the anterior pituitary, the TSH, FSH, LH, ACTH, PRL and G. That is the ADH is antidiuretic hormone, and oxytocin by the posterior lobe, and the anterior lobe secretes the thyroid stimulating hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, adenocorticothyroid tropical hormones, the prolactin and the growth hormone. G, it is the growth hormone. So these all hormones are released by the pituitary. So now, here you can see the presence of your, ठीक है. Now see, this is this where the pituitary is situated. You can see here, see, it is situated at the base of the brain. This is your squamous bone. You can see this is your squamous bone, and it is situated at the this is a P-shaped structure. This is the pituitary, and you can see this is your optic chiasma in the third ventricle here. Okay, this is your third ventricle, blue colored line, and this is the small structures, pink colored is your pituitary, small P-shaped structure. This is which in the base, at the base of the brains, which releases a wide variety of hormones that in turn control the activity of body's other hormone glands. Okay, so this is present here in the brain. This is the situation where the pituitary is present in your brain. You can see all the structures here, the corpus callosum, the various other structures here. You can see this is the cerebral cortex you are seeing here. This is corpus callosum, this is your cerebellum. Okay, now this is your midbrain up, then the pons and the medulla and the pons, and your this brainstem. Okay, the main structure of your all this cerebrum, cerebellum, and midbrain, pons, and medulla. This is the major brain portion of your. This is corpus callosum, and the hypothalamus and the various thalamus is present here, and other nuclear structures. Okay, so these are present here in the, here it is in the, here it is in the this brain, it is situated here. Okay, so this is the situation of your pituitary gland. Next is, what are the blood supply of the pituitary gland. So blood supply of this pituitary gland, arterial blood supply is from branches of internal carotid artery. The anterior lobe is supplied indirectly by the blood that has already passed through a capillary bed in the hypothalamus, but the posterior lobe is supplied directly. Okay, the anterior lobe is supplied indirectly by the blood that has already passed through a capillary bed in the hypothalamus. Okay, and but the posterior lobe is supplied directly. So this is the blood supply of pituitary gland. Now the what is the influence of hypothalamus on pituitary gland? So the hypothalamus controls release of hormones from both the anterior and the posterior pituitary, but in different ways. So the hormones which are released from the hypothalamus, they act on the anterior and posterior pituitary, and those hormones then brings about the release of various other hormones from the pituitary gland, the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary, but the action is different in on the both anterior and the posterior pituitary. Okay, now hormones of the pituitary gland, anterior pituitary gland. Now this is important to know that what are the hormones which are released from the anterior pituitary and what are the hormones which are released from the posterior pituitary. Okay, now anterior pituitary, the growth hormone, okay, GH growth hormone, TSH thyroid stimulating hormone. These are the hormones released by the anterior pituitary. Okay, and acetylcholine tropical hormone ACTH, then prolactin PRL, then LH luteinizing hormone, and the FSH, the follicle stimulating hormones. So these are the various hormones which are released by the anterior pituitary. Now what about the posterior pituitary? Now the posterior pituitary releases two hormones, the vasopressin, or also called as the anterior antidiuretic hormone, and the oxytocin. Okay, so the ADH and oxytocin is released by the posterior pituitary. Now the posterior pituitary. Now the posterior pituitary is more important, but because both are important. But so the posterior pituitary is important because it works as a unit with the hypothalamus. Okay, so although the posterior pituitary does not synthesize its own hormones, it does store and release oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone produced in the hypothalamus. Okay, so posterior pituitary is releasing only two hormones, okay, and it does not synthesize these hormones, but the synthesis of this oxytocin and the antidiuretic hormone is done by the hypothalamus, and it stores, this posterior pituitary stores these hormones, and then releases it from the posterior pituitary. So these two hormones, oxytocin and ADH, is released by the posterior pituitary but synthesized by the hypothalamus. Okay. Now OT, the oxytocin controls uterine contractions during delivery and milk injection during breastfeeding. So this is very important when there is the time of parturition or delivery in a pregnant lady. So this oxytocin brings about the strong uterine contractions in the uterus, so that expels the fetus, the baby, out of the your vaginal openings. So this brings about the uterine contractions, and milk injection during breastfeeding is this is also under the control of this oxytocin. When there is release of oxytocin is continue till breastfeeding continues, and the mother is there is no lack of milk in the mother. Okay. Now next is ADH or antidiuretic hormone. So antidiuretic hormone causes retention of body water and controlling the body's water balancing mechanism. What happens when there is antidiuretic, means it brings about the accumulation of water in the human body, water balancing mechanism. So that not much of water is washed off from the body, as the human body is consists of 70% of water. So it should retain water inside it, so that it can bring about the various other metabolic function inside the body. So that the under this antidiuretic hormone that causes retention of body water and the controlling the body's water balancing mechanism. Okay, so this is all about the posterior pituitary, because it has only two hormones, so its functions are also very clear. Okay. Now next is the anterior pituitary. Now anterior pituitary is very important to understand that anterior pituitary secretes hormones that control a wide range of bodily activities. Okay, so various 6 hormones released by the anterior pituitary, and then those hormones release the various other body activities, homeostasis, stasis, metabolism, growth. All your function is various wide variety of functions is controlled by the anterior pituitary. Okay. Now the hypothalamus regulates the anterior pituitary by producing releasing hormones. Okay. The hypothalamus releases various hormones which act on the anterior pituitary. Okay. So this anterior pituitary also regulated by the hypothalamus only. Okay. So these hormones are called as releasing hormones. So when they release this hypothalamus release this releasing hormones, then they act on the anterior pituitary, and then this anterior pituitary release secrete various other hormones, which brings about the action in the other bodily activities. Okay. So that hypothalamus regulate the anterior pituitary by producing releasing hormones that stimulate release of anterior pituitary gland hormones, and inhibiting hormones that suppress the release of anterior pituitary gland hormones. Okay. Now this releasing hormones and the inhibiting hormones also, that is also released by the hypothalamus only. Okay. So when body needs some action, then the releasing hormones are secreted by the hypothalamus, and when the body needs that action to be suppressed, so this inhibiting hormones that suppress the release of anterior pituitary gland hormones, that is also released by the hypothalamus only. So this anterior pituitary have 5 principal type of cells which secretes 7 major hormones. Okay, so this 7 major hormones are released by anterior pituitary and by the 5 principal types of cells. So what are these 7 important major hormones of the anterior pituitary? So they are, first is this anterior pituitary hormone is the growth hormone, okay, which stimulates general body growth and regulates certain aspects of metabolism. So growth is controlled by this anterior pituitary hormone GH, or the growth hormone. Okay, next is the thyroid stimulating hormone, which controls secretions and other activities of the thyroid gland. So one is the growth hormone, second is the thyroid stimulating hormone, the TSH. Okay, so THS, which controls the secretion and other activities of thyroid gland. THS brings about the release of T3 and T4 from the thyroid gland, which is again responsible for the various other body activities. T3 and T4 is very important hormones. Usually when many times you visit the any physician or any doctor, you see many doctors write down the if there is something they find some difference in body this metabolism, so they say they go for the TSH test or T3 T4 test. This to what are the level of this TSH in the blood and what is the level of your T3 and T4 in the blood, so they are creating problem in the human body. So this TSH is released by the anterior pituitary. Okay, the next is the follicle stimulating hormone, or FSH, and the luteinizing hormone. So this follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone stimulate the secretion of estrogen and progesterone and the maturation of oocytes in the ovaries and the secretion of testosterone and sperm production in the testes. Now what happens? This follicle stimulating hormone stimulates secretion of estrogen and progesterones. Now this estrogen and level of estrogen and progesterones bring about the maturation of oocytes, that is the egg cells in the ovaries. Okay, once this is under the process, under the this effect of this hormones, secretion of this estrogen and progesterone, which brings about the maturation of oocytes in the ovaries, and the effect of the luteinizing hormones, the secretion of testosterone and the sperm production in the testes. This is the maturation of oocytes in the ovaries in the females, and by the luteinizing hormones in the secretion of, they regulate the secretion of testosterone and the sperm production in the testes in the males, or in the males. Okay, so these are the three hormones. First three hormones is the growth hormone, the thyroid stimulating hormone, and the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone in the females and the luteinizing hormone in the males. Now the next is the prolactin. This prolactin, which initiates milk production in the mammary glands. This happens during the pregnancy period, when there is the mother conceives, then there is that initiates the production of milk production in mammary glands. Now next is adenocorticotropic hormone, this and the melanocyte stimulating hormone. So this adenocorticotropic hormone is released or stimulates the adrenal cortex to secrete glucocorticoids. Okay, so adenocorticotropic hormone is the hormone of the kidney, when the suprarenal glands or the adrenal glands. Okay, so this adenocorticotropic hormone stimulates the adrenal cortex to secrete glucocorticoids, which controls the various other activities, the level of glucose and other activities in the human body. And this melanocyte stimulating hormone is the skin pigmentation, it affects the skin. This is the skin pigmentation hormone. Okay, now see the summary of this all the in this table they have summarized all the hormones and their functions. Okay, So hormone is growth hormone, and its function is it regulates metabolism, promote tissue growth, especially of bones and muscles. Okay. Now next is thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH, that stimulates growth and activity of thyroid gland and secretion of T3 and T4 from the thyroid gland. There is adrenocorticotropic hormone that stimulates the adrenal cortex, and release of the, then secrete the glucocorticoids. Okay. Now next is the prolactin. Prolactin is that stimulate growth of breast tissue and milk production. Okay. Then next is the follicle stimulating hormone. This stimulates production of sperm in the testes, stimulates secretion. This stimulates secretion of estrogen by the ovaries and maturation of ovarian follicles and ovulation. Okay, this is done by the follicle stimulating hormone. And this luteinizing hormone, this stimulates secretion of testosterone by testes, stimulates secretion of progesterone by the corpus luteum. Okay, and this stimulates the production of sperm in the testes by the follicle stimulating hormone only, and the luteinizing hormones brings about the stimulation that stimulates secretion of testosterone by testes and the stimulates secretion of progesterone by the corpus luteum. Okay, now one by one we'll go with, first is the growth hormone. So this is the most abundant hormone synthesized by the anterior pituitary. Okay, and it stimulates growth and division of most body cells, but especially those in the bones and skeletal muscles. Okay, now as we know, this maximum, it is the most abundant hormone synthesized by the anterior pons. The maximum release of the pituitary hormone is of the growth hormone only. Okay, it stimulates growth and division of most body cells, but especially those in the bones and skeletal muscles. So it brings about the growth and division of the most body cells, but especially in bones and skeletal muscles, where the growth happens in the bone and the height increase, the bulk, muscle bulk increase, that happens in bones and skeletal muscles. So this growth hormone is released by the it stimulates growth and division of most body cells, but especially those in the bones and skeletal muscles. Now the body growth is in response to the secretion of growth hormone is evident during childhood and adolescence. Okay, and thereafter secretion of growth hormone maintains the mass of bones and skeletal muscles. So as you know, body growth is in response to the secretion of growth hormone is evident during childhood and adolescence, and thereafter secretion of growth hormone maintains the mass. First there is growth and then is maintenance. Okay, in childhood and adolescence there is growth in response to this growth hormone. Okay, and then there is maintenance of this secretion of growth hormone, maintains the mass of bones and skeletal muscles in adults. Once the whole growth is achieved, then it maintains this growth hormone. Now it also regulates aspects of metabolism in many organs like liver, intestines and pancreas. It released in stimulated by the growth hormone releasing hormone, and suppressed by the growth hormone release inhibiting hormone. Okay, so its release is stimulated by GHRH, that is growth hormone releasing hormone. Okay, and suppressed by the growth hormone release inhibiting hormone. Okay, and also known as somatostatin. This inhibiting hormone is also known as somatostatin, both of which are secreted by the hypothalamus. Now, as you know, secretion of growth hormone is greater at night during sleep and is also stimulated by hypoglycemia, low blood sugar level, exercise and anxiety. Okay, so when as you know, many people says that the growth of babies occur in the night, they should have a proper sleep, because the secretion of growth hormone is greater at night during sleep and is also stimulated by hypoglycemia, exercise and anxiety. So this is very important to exercise. You should have proper exercise schedule so that your for kids and adolescents, teenagers, we used to say they should proper exercise so that their growth will increase, they have proper growth. So secretion peaks in adolescence and then declines with the age. The secretion of growth hormone reaches its peaks in adolescence, in the teenagers, and then it declines with the age. Okay. Now, next is your TSH. The release of this hormone is stimulated by thyrotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. Okay. Now, it stimulates growth and activity of the thyroid gland, which secretes hormone thyroxine and the thyroiodothyronine. Okay. So, it stimulates growth and activity. TSH is release of this hormone is stimulated by the thyrotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus releases the TRH, and which brings about the release of TSH from the pituitary. Okay, and it stimulates growth and activity of the thyroid gland, which secretes the hormone thyroxine and triiodothyronine. Okay, release is the lowest in early evening and highest during the night. Again, the thyroid stimulating hormone is also has the highest release at night. So always the sleep is also, that's why they says you should have a proper sleep for kids and adult and teenagers, so that they have proper growth. For growth they need to have proper sleep, so that this hormone release is maximum at the night. Okay, now next is the this is your ACTH or adrenocorticotropic hormone and the corticotropin. So this corticotropin release hormone from the hypothalamus promotes the synthesis and release of ACTH by anterior pituitary. Okay, so this corticotropic hormone releasing hormone from hypothalamus, it releases CRH, and which promotes the synthesis and release of ACTH by the anterior pituitary. Okay, now this increase the concentration of cholesterol. So again, this is under the control of your hypothalamus, this ACTH release. Okay, now this increases, what is the action? This increases the concentration of cholesterol and steroids within the adrenal cortex. So this ACTH act on the adrenal cortex, which increases the concentration of cholesterol and the steroids. Now ACTH levels are highest at about 8 am and fall to their lowest by about midnight. So the level the ACTH levels are highest at about in the morning. So this level is highest at 3. So various tests we do is in the morning, empty stomach. You know the physicians prescribe various tests of various hormones and other tests in the early in the morning, and that too empty stomach. Many times they say empty stomach, and sometimes they need when there is like PP, postprandial effect of sugar, when they want to know, so they say after 1.5 hour or so. So this is about the ACTH. Okay, now next is about the prolactin. So this prolactin is the hormone is secreted during pregnancy to prepare the breast for lactation or milk production after childbirth. So this prolactin is secreted during pregnancy to prepare. So they brings about the congestion of your breast tissues, means your breast tissues, your lactiferous ducts and other organs in the other parts of your breast, the lobules, and they increases during this under the effect of this prolactin. So there the lactiferous lobules and ducts, this all grows inside the breast under the effect of this prolactin hormone, so, which is responsible for the milk production, lactation after childbirth. Okay, so the baby will need milk from the mother, so this prolactin is start releasing in the pregnancy only. Now, the blood level of prolactin is stimulated by prolactin releasing hormone released from the hypothalamus and is lowered by the prolactin inhibiting hormone dopamine by an increased level of prolactin. So this is about the prolactin. Okay. Next is the gonadotropins. So just before puberty, two gonadotropins, that is the sex hormones, are secreted in gradually increasing amounts by anterior pituitary in response to luteinizing hormone releasing hormone LHRH, and also known as gonadotropin releasing hormones. Okay. So these hormones are released by the pituitary, anterior pituitary only. The two gonadotropins are also called as the sex hormones. They brings about the various sexual changes in the at the time of puberty, also known as gonadotropin releasing hormones and luteinizing hormone releasing hormone. Okay. Now, rising level of these hormones at puberty promotes mature function of reproductive organs. Okay. And in both males and females, the hormones are responsible. The hormones which are responsible are the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. We have already seen the action of this both the hormones. The rising levels of these hormones at the puberty promotes mature functioning of the reproductive organs. Okay. So this there is this various changes in voice and skin and changes in the body of the girls. This happens with under the influence of this follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. Okay. So in female, follicle stimulating hormone regulates the development of sex organs in the female, development of immature ovarian follicle from the ovary. Okay. Secretes estrogen and progesterone during menstrual cycle. Okay. So in females, this is the estrogen and progesterone secretes the this secretion of estrogen progesterone during menstrual cycle. Okay. And regulates the development of sex organs in female and development of immature ovarian follicle from the ovary. This is the action of this FSH in females, and in males it brings about the initiation of spermatogenesis, the production of sperms during puberty. Okay. This is under the control of initiation of spermatogenesis. Okay. Now, luteinizing hormone in females, ovulation, maintaining of corpus luteum and secretion of progesterone. So this luteinizing hormones brings about the ovulation, maintaining of corpus luteum and the secretion of progesterone in females, and in males there is the release of this testosterone in the under the influence of this luteinizing hormone. Okay. So this is the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. That's all about the. So this is all the hormones of the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary we have done with and their actions. Okay. So that's all about the pituitary gland and hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. Thank you.